Hi everybody, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel, Hallmark Plus More, where we watch and talk about shows, movies, mysteries, Hallmark ornaments, and anything else that floats our boat. So today I'm going to be reviewing a Hallmark Channel movie called Return to Office. And I usually do my movie review and then I always do my Gen rating at the end. So before I get into the review and the Gen rating, just want to say thank you to everybody who likes my videos, subscribes to my channel, leaves me comments. I appreciate you so much. So getting into this movie, the main character is Liv Smith. She is the director of corporate strategy for a company called Omega Technology. And then the other main character is Tom Cole. He's head designer of Art Access, I'm sorry. And they are kind of merging with Omega Tech, or should I say Omega Tech kind of like bought their company. So they're kind of merging them. Walter is the boss of Omega Technology. So he works, with Liv. And then we're seeing Cole kind of come into the mix as this company merges. So, the first scene is them on a Zoom call, kind of with both companies. So that was always interesting, kind of reminds you of the pandemic when that's kind of how we socialized and had meetings with coworkers. So his first, action of business in the meeting is to say they're going to return to office policy. And obviously, with two companies merging, there's not enough space for everybody. So some are going to work Monday and Wednesday, and some are going to work Tuesday, Thursday, and then Friday, everybody works from home. So basically, you're going to share a desk. It's kind of going to be like a desk mate. So you're going to be at it Monday, somebody's going to come in Tuesday, you're going back Wednesday, they come in Thursday. And then nobody's in the office, from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So definitely interesting. I think that's relatable since a lot of people had to go back to the office and they did hybrid. I'm not sure a lot of companies necessarily did the shared desk base, but I can definitely see it happening. You can kind of tell how this is going to go, right? So Liv picks Monday and Wednesdays, and her desk mate obviously turns out to be Tom, and he's Tuesday, Thursdays. So their kind of rules, so to speak, are you have a desk drawer, like each desk mate has a desk drawer and they put all their personal items away. So first thing when you come in the morning, you can put up your items, and then you put everything away, to show respect for your desk mate that comes in the next day. But Liv has a plant, and it needs sunlight, and she doesn't want to stash it away. So she leaves her desk mate a note, basically saying, "Hey, I hope you don't mind. I left my plant out. I need sunlight." Um, and that's kind of what started the whole note taking thing. So they've been leaving notes for each other, and she signs her first note like Ms. Monday, right? So of course Tom's like, "Oh, that's cute," and so he makes a note and he signs it Mr. Tuesday. So that's kind of how they know each other. They don't really find out until obviously later in the movie who they are, but they kind of go through making these notes. And as you can kind of imagine, Liv, she's very neat. Like I say, she has her plant, she has, her post-it notes and her pens, and everything's kind of organized. And then Tom is more kind of messy and more of that creative style. So he doesn't put his things away, right? He leaves his stuff up. So of course, she's not necessarily leaving friendly notes. She's just leaving notes like, "Hey, please remember to take your stuff down." And then he's got a little like duck, like a little rubber ducky he puts out. And so she's coming in the next day going, "I put away my stuff except the plant. And I really think you need to, abide by the rules." So they're kind of going back and forth, kind of in a cute way, but then he leaves a half-eaten sandwich in his drawer. Now remember, he's Tuesday, Thursday. So he leaves it in his drawer on Thursday. Nobody's there Friday and the weekend. So Monday morning she kind of smells something. So this half-eaten sandwich has been in there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I can imagine it smells disgusting, right? So she gets upset. She leaves a note. And then he's like, first he leaves notes that going back and forth. And she comes in, and he's a designer, he's creative, he's got a lot of ideas. He's got trash all over the floor, right? Like just wads of paper. So she's like, you don't deserve trash, trash responsibility or trash duty. So she actually removes a trash can. So when he comes in on Tuesday and reads a note about the smelly sandwich, he's like, oh, I couldn't find a trash can, which Miss Monday actually took the trash can away. I'm not saying it's her fault about the sandwich. I'm just saying that was funny to me how he wasn't intentionally leaving the sandwich, but he didn't have a trash can, and she took it away the day before. So, he apologizes. He brings her a pastry with the note. And the pastry is very enjoyable. She loves the pastry. And he puts the plant back out because, he actually hid away her plant. So he's kind of saying a peace offering. Sorry about the sandwich. Here's a pastry. I'm sorry. And I'm leaving your plant out. So she decides as a nice gesture to leave his little rubber ducky out and some of his drawings. They send notes like maybe we should meet because they're starting to get along and kind of flirt in their notes. But they decide to keep it secret. And then they have to meet in person for a meeting. So Walter wants everybody in the office for this big meeting. So everybody comes together. Liv is, the director of strategy. So she, makes a presentation. And of course, she's planned it all out because she's very organized that way. And it's about rebranding the logo. So she's basically saying look, we need to spruce up the company logo. I've done some research. It goes over well in the US, but if we're going to go global, the research shows this percent and this percent, other countries aren't really liking our logo. So she's kind of justifying it. You notice with Liv, anytime she makes a statement about her work, she always backs it up with focus groups and research. So I do like that because, she's just not saying, I want to do it. She's saying, hey, this is what's best for the company. She's always looking at what's best for the company. She's a great employee, very loyal to Walter. So she's like, okay, well, I'm going to need a lead designer, somebody from that company, Art Access, to help with the logo. And basically Walter, says that's a great idea. You're in charge, you're the boss. All of the designers for Art Access are going to report to you, and you're going to have a lead that's kind of going to help you along the way. So Tom, finding this out, he's not happy at all. So remember, he's the head designer. He doesn't want to change a logo. And now he's finding out Liv is the boss now. So, and he's got to report to her. So of course he volunteers to be the lead designer or the liaison to Art Access. That's why they do this rebranding, because he really wants to be involved with it. So they have to work together on both sides. Or having some kind of team building weekend, and Liv is like, look, we've all RSVP. Nobody from your company has RSVP'd yet. Can you help me with that? So he's, Liz is saying, okay, we're going to work together on a logo, but you're going to help us kind of merge them together. And one of the gifts of them going back and forth is, because remember, Tom and Liv don't know they're the desk mates. So Mr. Tuesday actually gives her another gift, noise canceling headphones. So Liv likes working from home. She likes listening to classical music, yoga. She kind of has her own routine and her creative thinking and how she does her work. So she doesn't like loud noises. So the first day, remember, she picked Monday because she wanted to pick her desk There was traffic. She got there late, so she couldn't pick the ideal desk by the window and kind of away from everybody. Her desk is right in front of the break area, which is a very open break room. It's just like a kitchen area out in the open. So they're constantly making, smoothies, and like it's hard for her to concentrate. So she wanted to get there early to get a good desk, but she didn't. So I guess through her communication, Mr. Tuesday gave her some noise canceling headphones. So, and then he leaves her a note saying, hey, we work at Omega Tech. So instead of writing notes back and forth, I created a profile for you on the Omega Tech app, Mr. Tuesday, and I set you up as Miss Monday. So no more post-it notes, no more notes. We'll just do everything text, which I'm like, okay, that's going to increase their communication because now they can talk on the weekends if they want to, or after work. So I'm like, okay, this is going to increase because now they can go back and forth instead of waiting the next day to write another note. So they flirt, they text, they kind of agree, to stay secret unless somebody figures it out. Right. So to me, that's a challenge. Like none of them, either one of them are trying to figure it out. But to me, if somebody says, we'll stay secret unless one of us figures it out, I want to figure it out. I've never been in a situation where there's like a secret pen pal writing notes thing, but I thought that was, when he said that, I was like, yeah, challenge accepted, right? But they go along, keeping their kind of communication secret, but at the same time, as a side story, remember Tom and Liv are working together for rebranding this logo, so they kind of gotta get their creative side. So they're working together, they're getting closer. And, so Tom and Liv are both thinking these are two separate people, but, and there's some similarities that you're seeing. So to me, I'm like, I don't know why they didn't pick up on it, but it's a movie. So of course they don't realize it right away. And they talk about the rebranding of the logo, like they're having meetings, just the two of them, and they're not really getting along and deciding. So they do have their team building event, and Walter sets up teams, like pre-made teams, and of course Tom and Liv are a team. So they just go through, they're assigned as partners, and there's a list of activities or events, so to speak, and they go through all these events, just fun games between, like, the balloon, where you put a balloon in between, you have to walk straight or around cones and not drop the balloon, just different, fun exercises. And they actually won, and the prize was gift baskets. So they both got these big gift baskets with different things in them, but some of the coupons were a gift certificate to a very nice restaurant, and also a gift certificate for a private cooking class with a renowned chef. So I thought that was kind of cool. I'm like, okay, that's going to come into play at some point, right? Because they made it a point to talk about those two items in this huge gift basket. So, I'm thinking, all right, we're going to see that. So another thing too, Tom's mom. So you see a side story with Tom's mom, and he's putting her into, or she's joining, a senior living village. So they have all kinds of activities. They have like a big community center that hosts all the activities. And she's a little hesitant, obviously, because she doesn't know anybody. But Tom's like, you'll make friends, join a class. So she's like, well, I did see that there was this quilting class. And Tom was like, join it, right? Like, meet some friends. Let me know how it goes. So she goes to this quilting class, and of course Liv is the teacher of the quilting class. So Liv is getting to know Tom's mom named Judy, and she meets another lady there, and they start talking. So now she's got a friend. She likes Liv because Liv is such a nice person, and like I say, she's teaching the class, but she finds a friend there too. So Tom does tell his mom about his pen pal friend, right? And that he's texting or, communicating with her as Miss Monday. They talk about music, he says, she told me about this tip and it really calmed me down. I really like it, and his mom is basically like, you really need to get out in the real world if you're just having this text communication. But as Tom talks to his mom about it, his mom realizes that he's starting to really like her. So she's like, why don't you text her and make a dinner date, And he does. And of course, Liv accepts it. And Liv gets to know Judy and her friend in this quilting class that they have every week. And she starts talking to them about having this date on Sunday. And Judy's mom is like, yeah, my son also asked out somebody from work that he's been wanting to ask out. And Judy goes, yeah, he's really spent with her. He calls her Miss Monday. So Liv realizes then and there that the pen pal, is her. So she's realizing to Judy, like, oh my gosh, your son is Mr. Tuesday, right? So she doesn't want to give it away. I felt like she was kind of obvious. And you realize later that Judy and her friend are like, yeah, we knew. But she doesn't say anything to Judy, like, hey, that's the same date I'm going on. But it seems like they kind of realized it. So before the date, because they're going out on Sunday, she actually goes to work and talks to Tom and wants to find out information. So she's kind of like, oh, she just starts talking to him, and Tom starts talking about his desk mate. And he's like, well, she goes, what do you like about the desk mate? Well, she's amazing. She's one of a kind. And, Liv kind of likes that, but at the same time, she doesn't want to say anything to Tom right now. So she shows, they talk about the logo rebranding. Liv loves his new logo. But when they go to the show, when they show Walter, the boss, he hates it and he doesn't want to use it. So he just scraps it. Remember, it's his way or the highway. He's very, he's a nice boss, but he makes the final say. So there's no like, oh, well, why don't you sleep on it or think about it? He makes those quick decisions and they're final. So he is like, you know what? I'm going to design the new logo. And Liv looks at Tom and Tom's kind of mad, right? And Liv just goes, yes, Walter, that's what we'll do. And Tom kind of gets upset and leaves because he feels like Liv should have spoke up for him. But Liv knows. Liv's worked there for years, knows Walter, knows when Walter says no, that's final. So to her, she was wasting her breath fighting for Tom and this logo. She just knew the outcome was going to be Walter saying no and going with his own personal idea. So Tom doesn't know that, so Tom's upset. And like I say, Liv didn't see the point because she knew what the final outcome was going to be. So that's why she didn't really say anything. But it's Sunday and Tom's at the restaurant. Liv shows up at the restaurant and basically says, are you waiting for somebody? And Liv's like, yeah, I'm waiting for a date. So she goes into the bathroom and basically says, like, hey, I can't, cancels on him and goes back out and tries to talk to Tom. She kind of came to the restaurant to tell Tom, like, hey, I'm the same person. I'm Miss Monday, but Tom kind of gets annoyed with her and says, yeah, I'm still kind of upset over the Walter meeting. You're a yes woman. And then Liv kind of is like, okay, this isn't the right moment. He's obviously not happy with me. And I'm kind of hurt that she doesn't see that he doesn't see, like, hey, there's no point in me speaking. When Walter makes a decision, it's final. There's no changing his mind. But Tom doesn't see it that way. So he's still agitated with her. So it's not the right time. So she just says, I hope Miss Monday will make it up to you. And she leaves. But then she goes back to her quilting class, and Judy and her friend basically say, we know you're Miss Monday. We won't tell Tom. But they kind of meddle when Tom comes, and she's, he sees her face on the wall. So he goes to Liv and is like, I didn't know you, you volunteered at the center, my mom, and they kind of talked. and they agree to go to the private cooking class together. And his name is Chef Anthony, which is Kayvon Smith, which was a great surprise because I love that actor. He's in a lot of Hallmark movies, so definitely like that guest kind of cameo that he had there. But Tom invites Chad, who is HR, to the class because Chad was really looking forward to this. And he's the one who set up the gift baskets, right? So he knew about it. So Liv kind of thought they were gonna have like a one-on-one moment with Tom, but Chad is there, and Chad's like a terrible cook. So, and he you can tell that Chef Anthony's kind of getting annoyed with them. They have a couple sweet moments, how Tom's like, you and Miss Monday have a lot in common. So they get back to the office. Walter shows them his logo, and it's terrible. It's very childish. It has like bubble letters, like a child. And Tom's like, oh, or I'm sorry, Walter's like, what do you think? And Tom just can't hold it in. He's like, I hate it. It's the worst logo I've ever seen. But Tom says, Walter says, we're going to go with it. I like it. You guys took forever to come up with one. I did it with an AI and I did it quick and I like it and we're going to go with it. And that's final. So Tom gets up and quits, right? He's just like, I'm done. And Liv stands up and is like, no, Tom, let's talk about this. And then Walter says, no, let him go. If you go after him, then you're not going to have a job either. So, like, he was kind of firm with her. So Liv is kind of like torn. Like, I want to go after Tom, but I'm going to have to lose my job. So she tries to talk to Walter, like, are you sure you want to go with this logo? And Walter's going on and on. We don't need designers. I did this with the AI and it took like 5 minutes and it looks great. So we don't need designers anymore. And of course, remember, Art Access is all about designers and creativity and giving them a social platform. So, I mean, if you don't need designers, you really don't need the company. So he says he's going to replace the need for designers. He's going to clone Art Access and create his own social platform, which is more profitable. And all he's going to use AIs and it's going to save all this time and money. And Liv's like, well, if you do that, I'm not on board. But Walter doesn't really say, he just kind of says whatever, and he keeps going on with this. I'll give you a promotion. You'll be by my side for the whole thing. It's gonna be great. Da, 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 da. So while he's talking, you don't see Liv, and then I guess she leaves, and you see a post-it note to Walter that says she quits. So she doesn't really see the vision because she's realizing like you're going to do everything with AIs and I don't want to work here anymore. So Tom is helping his mom with her quilt at the senior center, and his mom is really kind of giving him like a good talk. Like, look, we know Liv is Miss Monday, and look, you think she's a yes woman, but your career was different. You were your own boss. You have to look at it from her point of view, right? She knows how Walter is. She had to work and fight for everything that she has. She's not a pushover. And I feel like, he's finally starting to see Liv for, who she is and for everything that she's done, right? So kudos to mom because I really feel like she finally got it across to him. So they finally go on one more date and they talk and apologize because remember, Tom still doesn't know it's Liv, but Liv does. So on this final date, she tells him like, yeah, obviously I miss Monday, and they talk and he apologizes to her. And Tom says he understands her point of view, you know what I mean? And that he was wrong, and they kiss. And then that's when she's like, well, I hope you still have your coupon because both of us don't have jobs. So she kind of realizes then, like, oh, she quit. But she's like, hey, I have an idea. I want to start my own business, just the two of us. And he's like, I got a great name for it, Patchwork, which I thought was a cute name, Patchwork, since, the quilting and his mom. So I thought that was sweet. So it kind of ended well. This movie, I hope you enjoyed watching the movie. I hope you enjoyed my review and a summary of it. I mean, it was a cute movie. I liked it because I liked how it started with the Zoom meeting because, like I said, kind of reminded me like the pandemic. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting movie. I loved the characters too. So anytime I do a movie review, I always go through a couple things. What I loved about it, what I disliked about it, was it believable, the actors, the story, the feels, the overall feels of the movie, how it, how I felt about it, or if I remembered about it the next day. So the things that I loved about it, I loved that it was a different concept. I like that it was, they had to return to work. They had to have that like hybrid schedule, right? And have desk mates. I did believe the actors. First off, the actress who plays Liv, she is also the actress that played in a Christmas movie called Sugar Plummed, which I did a review on my channel that you can look up. But she was so amazing in Sugar Plummed. So when I saw that it was the same actress, I was like, okay, this is going to be good because she's a great actress. And she did. She portrayed it beautifully. I loved her acting in this movie. I loved the cameo from Kevon Smith because he's great. I love his movies. And I just I liked the concept. I liked where, having the input with the mom in the quilting class because I feel like that was a good input on the movie. So I did believe the actors in the story. The overall feels, I thought it was a good movie. It wasn't much I disliked about it. I wish there was like an aha moment, I guess, for Tom to kind of put two and two together. But at the same time, I liked that Liv knew and, she was kind of working it all along. I'm glad Tom wasn't too upset that Liv knew, because I feel like that could have been some conflict or tension. But I thought it was a good movie. My Gen rating, anytime I do it out of 5. So, for this particular movie, I would actually do for my Gen rating, I would rate it 4 gold crowns. So for this movie, my Gen rating is 4 gold crowns. If you have time, and you get an opportunity to watch this movie, it's definitely a cute movie. The actors are amazing in it. But yes, I definitely give it 4 gold crowns. So until next time, I will see you then. Bye.